G'day and welcome to the Saturday Show. Today we're covering the US Federal Reserve lifting restrictions on banks' crypto activity, signalling a more open stance towards digital assets. Binance is boosting transparency with a new token listing framework, and analyst Ben Cowan warns that altcoins may continue bleeding against Bitcoin unless monetary policy shifts. Those stories and more from around the crypto domain. Let's get into it. First story today, the US Fed lifts restrictions on banks' cryptocurrency activities. The US Federal Reserve has withdrawn its 2022 and 2023 guidance, allowing banks to engage in crypto and stablecoin activities without prior notification, signaling a shift towards a more innovation-friendly regulatory approach. The board is rescinding its 2022 guidance letter, establishing an expectation that state member banks provide advance notice of planned or ongoing crypto asset-related activities. Any activity related to cryptocurrencies will now be monitored through the Federal Reserve's normal supervisory process. In addition, the Fed is rescinding its 2023 supervisory letter that affected state banks interacting with stablecoins. The revocations mark the Federal Reserve's first major move on crypto activity under the Trump administration, which has initiated several measures to create a more favorable environment for cryptocurrencies in the US and support innovation. The Securities and Exchange Commission also revoked a controversial rule that required banks and financial firms holding cryptocurrencies to record them as liabilities on their balance sheets. I can definitely see this increasing institutional adoption. As the banks now enter the crypto and stablecoin space more aggressively, we'll see more liquidity, I believe, in the market. It could fuel bullish momentum because people start to see the US stance on crypto is just a lot friendlier now than it was before. And honestly, if banks are able to get more involved, we'll definitely see the acceleration of RWA tokenization, right? Because, with BlackRock and things like that already involved, banks getting involved, I think we're going to see the acceleration of that. So probably an area that would be good to keep an eye on and look into some of those projects like Ondo. Next article, welcome to the pain. Analyst Benjamin Cowan says altcoins to keep bleeding against Bitcoin until this happens. Cryptocurrency analyst Benjamin Cowan is saying Bitcoin is primed to continue outperforming altcoins over the near term. Based on the social risk metric, which gauges crypto market sentiment based on social media activity of market participants, altcoins could continue underperforming the crypto king, being Bitcoin. He says, I've often said Ethereum is sort of like the index of the altcoin market. If it's doing poorly, interest in crypto is not that high, and altcoins are really doing that great. And you can see that as Ethereum has collapsed, so too did the social risk. So when we talk about social interest in crypto and it being low, what it means is that altcoins will likely keep bleeding to Bitcoin. I tend to agree kind of with the Ethereum being sort of like an index for the altcoin market. And Ben's great. Like I've followed him for a long time. You should definitely watch his channel. It's got great insights, very smart guy. I use his Into the Cryptoverse site for all the charting and indicators and things like that. I have a slight view that, yes, Ethereum is definitely an index for the altcoin market, but I feel like its power as being that main index diminishes slightly from cycle to cycle. So I feel that now we've got things like Solana and Cardano and that as well. They're also forming part of that altcoin indicator. Probably the top 10 altcoins would be forming part of that market indicator, I think. The thing is, Ethereum is like 7% or whatever of the market cap, right, of the total market cap. Bitcoin's 61 or something. So they're obviously the biggest part of it, but I do feel like Solana, Cardano, Binance, you bring some of those in together as a basket of tokens and that over time, that basket's going to get bigger against Ethereum. So I think they'll form part of that index as well as we move forward. According to the widely followed analysts, the loosening of the US monetary policy could turn the tide in favour of altcoins. Despite what people say, they truly want altcoin season. That's what they want. And because they keep not getting it, altcoins keep bleeding to Bitcoin, which is right. People are getting tired. People have been, especially ones that have been through the whole bear market, coming into here. You got that fake pump at the beginning of the year where people were starting to get excited. That pulled back. So people are definitely getting tired. Some of them are getting out of their altcoin positions as they feel we could be heading into the bear market, which I don't feel. In order to see the change, they need monetary policy to change. And the way to get monetary policy change is you get pain in the markets, which is really what we're seeing now, right? The next one, Binance unveils transparent token listing and delisting framework to boost market integrity. So Binance has laid bare its intricate token listing and removal procedures in a landmark announcement on the 25th of April, marking a significant stride towards enhanced market transparency. At the heart of this revelatory framework lies a multi-tiered evaluation system encompassing crucial metrics such as project viability, token economics, security protocols, and leadership credentials. In a move to safeguard market integrity, Binance has implemented stringent maintenance protocols. Tokens face potential removal should they exhibit concerning patterns such as minimal trading activity, market manipulation, inadequate developer engagement, technical vulnerabilities, or regulatory non-compliance. Now, I had also heard that there was going to be community involvement in this somehow as well, which would be great if they did have that. I think it would really set a precedent for other exchanges as well, which would only increase the transparency. It would only increase the confidence. If you had if community oversight as well, it would just lead to higher standards. And as I said, it's going to give you that increased confidence as well. It promotes decentralization. And hopefully it leads to an improved quality of the listed tokens that we're seeing on these exchanges and less of these scams and rugs that we get. Let's have a quick look at the crypto compass. So the key indicators for the day. We can see dominance slightly up. It's at 61. It's been at 61 for the last few days anyway. Ethereum again flat. That's at 7%. You've got the total market cap, 3 trillion. You've got volume at 117 billion. The top 5 stable tokens, excluding stables, you've got 3 green. You've got Binance and Solana slightly in the red. The Coinbase app has gone down in the rankings to 324. It was 310 yesterday, I think. We have seen an improvement in the fear and greed index, so that's up to 65 now, from 60 yesterday and actually 32 last week. So that's a reasonable increase. We've got net ETF flows of 505 million. And across the other indicators, historic risk, MVRV, Z, and the pure multiple, they're all slightly up on the day. And the NUPL and the Pi cycle are still remaining flat. Let's look at the top 100 tokens. So we can see Binance hasn't moved much on the day. It's 0.7, but 10% on the week. You've got Ethereum 1.8% and 13% on the week. Got a bit of red there with Solana and BNB, as I mentioned earlier. But in general, the top tokens have sort of been going not too bad, obviously, the last few days. So it's almost like there's a little bit of a cooling off day for those tokens. We can see Trump token is up 25% for the day, 92 for the week. Now that's going to be on the back of that Trump dinner that I believe the Democrats are now looking at how they can potentially impeach him again. You've got Batenza Tau, 25 for the week, but it's slightly down on the day. It did have a good run, a few days ago or early in the week. It was having quite a good run. Casper's down slightly, but again, that's 34% for the week, so that's still a good move for the week. What else we got moving? You've got 10% on FET, so that Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. It's 46% for the week and still 10% for the day. So we're still seeing a bit of life in there. You've got WorldCoin, so that's at 17%, 59 for the week. Bonk again, another memes. It's 16% for the day and 55 for the week. We've got any other big moves? We've got here 20% for Bitcoin SV. So I think that was a way back in the day. I think that was a fork of Bitcoin Cash, but that's 50% for the week. And let's just take a really quick look at the bubbles. So you've got virtual, which is AI. Trump again. We can see that meme flow through here. You've got Trump 21%, you got Brett at 26, 27%, you got Bonk at 20%, you got Whiff at nearly 10%, you got Pepe at 5.7, you got Floki at 6%. They're all up on the day. Doge marginally 0.9, but you're still seeing over the last few days, you've seen that meme trend continue. So, are we going to get that meme super cycle people were talking about? Who knows? They're a risk, so I wouldn't be going heavy in them. But if you get the right one, you can do well. 100 to 200. Here we go again. We can see Mog. We can see Sneck 23%. We can see Dog, which is a Bitcoin meme. That's at 33%. You got Morpho, 10%, that's DeFi yield earning platform. AIZ, 13%, that's AI. You got Pendle again up. Okay, let's leave it there. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. If you are a beginner to crypto as well, go and check out our Block to Basics series. We're posting videos for that sort of every couple of days. We've got another one. We've got Ondo, I think, coming out tomorrow. But again, it's really good series just for beginners to give you the basics. Things like, it'll give you things like terminology. It'll give you scams to look out for and try to avoid. Give you beginner mistakes, an overall view of how crypto works. We're doing certain tokens every few days just to give you a broad overview of what the token is about, for you to then go and do your research, really look at things like, wallet holders, tokenomics, the overall community, that sort of stuff. But on that note, I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks again.